Hey, Chris Lipe here with 3 reasons most singers fail. And I'm not talking about fail and give up singing forever. I'm talking about when you've amped yourself up to perform or record, why that often ends in discouragement or unmet expectations. So in this video, we're not only going to identify those, but I'm going to help you work beyond them so that the next time you go to perform or record or even practice, you're set up to succeed.
Bring the curtain down, I'm through with tonight. Even though you're gone, I'll be alright. 'Cause you're never too far away to join me for another day. Girl, you are my home. You are my home.
Now, if you'd like to develop or further develop more agility, control, and dynamics in your own voice, click the link below and request an invitation to my voice course. It's a 12-week intensive. It'll completely change the way you look at singing and your voice forever. Also, if you wouldn't mind, please subscribe to the channel and turn the notifications on so that you're made aware of when all my new videos come out. Okay, 3 reasons why singers fail. I know I've talked about this in other videos, and if you've been following the channel for a while, you've heard me say this before. The number one reason that I see singers fail is that they play the imitation game. And they do so unconsciously, even when they go to sing their own stuff, even when they're working on original music, they have in their mind this preconception that they need to sound like something that they've heard. And it's totally okay to draw inspiration from other vocalists, right? It's okay to learn from them. But when we are not satisfied with our sound that's coming out of our mouth as we're making it, and we're comparing ourselves to other singers, this causes all sorts of problems. Not only will we never sound like that person, but in the act of trying to be like another singer while we're trying to be our own singer, we end up introducing all sorts of unconscious tension and problems. And the best way that I've found to reset and get out of the imitation game, and this for me has to happen regularly. It's not something I can decide once. I'm not going to imitate other singers. When I go into a session or when I go into a live setting, I have to remind myself, I am me. And so one of the greatest things that helps me reset is warming up to or singing with a track that doesn't immediately remind me of anything else. Such was the case with the mini song that I opened up with. I just started singing over this track, and this stuff came out eventually. Just a simple bluesy sort of lounge piano thing. Now, when you listen to this right away, it doesn't, to me, well, you know, I'm sure you could say, oh, you know, Michael Bublé may have sung over that or something like that. But in my mind, it didn't trigger any temptations to imitate. So when you pull out some random instrumental thing and start mumbling over it, the next thing you do is pull out a piece of paper, pull out your notes app on your phone, and start writing down words that fit with your mumblings. Again, we're going for being creative without pressure. Anything goes. We're putting ourselves in a situation that, you know, we really don't need to meet any expectations at all. Once you've mumbled around and scribbled some things down, take it to the track and start singing. And after not much time at all, this
become tonight in my loneliness. You are my home. You are my home.
a more completed version of what you heard in the beginning of this video. It starts with just random ideas and letting the track flow and letting inspiration come, and then not judging, being open to what comes out, and then whittling away at it and improving upon it. Okay, the number 2 reason, in really no particular order, that a lot of singers fail is this. They fall prey to the one volume curse. You know, we don't speak in one volume. We're not always doing this. We don't speak like this all the time. We're not always loud. We're not always quiet. If you are a normal emotional human being, your voice fluctuates in dynamics, in intensity. But for some reason, a lot of singers will, when they start to sing, they're so pressuring themselves to, I'll get the right support, or, I've got to make sure I pronounce my vowels right, or whatever, that they forget that singing is just like having a conversation, and a normal conversation isn't made up of a static volume. Especially when we're in situations where we're not very comfortable. We end up singing more like this. I had a dream tonight, and I didn't like it. It's the same sound, even though I'm trying. It just doesn't work that well. And we have to realize that we have a huge amount of dynamic potential if we allow ourselves to. And I think part of the one volume curse is that we're kind of afraid to be over expressive and get out of our comfort zone, right? So, I don't want to be like, yeah, and then, I don't want to be doing that kind of thing. When I think most of the time, what I just did, that mentality going into really any singing situation is much better. If I just howl over this track a little bit and really focus on being way dynamic and not focus so much on anything else, really, not focus on delivery, not focus on words, just be really absurdly dynamic, I bet there'll be some kind of fun things that'll come out of it.
Bring the curtain down. Bring it down on my feet. I don't care if it hurts me. No, I don't care. No, I don't care. I don't care. I just don't care.
You are in control of your own volume, your dynamics, and your potential, if you know how to access it properly. And that leads me to number 3, another huge reason why a lot of singers fail. They reach for power instead of storing it up, realizing the potential, and then accepting it when they need it. This concept of accepting power implies that we have it in reserves, that we've already dialed in how our support should feel, that we've already stored up with a sense of anticipation that we have a lot to give. This also implies that because we're storing things, we're also holding back. We're holding things back strategically so that when emotionally we want to really give it up, to give it all, we can. Now, doing this properly, of course, takes into consideration that you already know what proper support is supposed to feel like. And if you don't know what proper support is supposed to feel like, click that link and I'll help you work with your support. But we want to go into every singing situation already having our poop muscles engaged, as you've heard me say in other videos, and more than you think you need to. It's not as though we are going to slack off and be all, soft down here when we're singing quietly, and then when we're singing loud, we push really, really hard. That's reaching for power. We want to already have the feel dialed in as if we're already going to sing loud, and then hold back. Compression is another huge aspect of being able to hold back potential and then let it go when you're ready. Thinking in this way, you'll never be caught off guard. You'll never have this time where you're ready to go for the chorus or the last bridge or whatever, and you don't have anything because you have practiced feeling what it feels like to engage for the whole song. You have practiced budgeting. You know your limits because you are familiar with your store of energy.
I'm gonna make sure my support is engaged all the time. There's no change in my lower abs. They're still engaged. Yeah. Even through the soft parts.
You can see it in my body language and form that my lower abs are engaged throughout the duration. It is the lazy singer's approach to only engage intensely with support when they're going for some huge thing or when they feel like they need it. Store it up. I hope you've enjoyed this and that it's maybe touched some nerves in your own singing. Again, if you'd like to take your power, your control, your agility, and your dynamics a huge step further, be sure to request the invitation to my 12-week course linked below.